grandfather.
Tell me about Chalou.
Chalou, first of all, before I start, I want to thank the president of the parish, Kenny Matassa, and the parish council for dedicating this to my grandfather. While my mama was living, I got the notion to have something dedicated in his honor because of his years as law enforcement, for 51 years, and also they lived at the jail. And my grandmother, Mary Falsetto Trepagnier, was the cook, and my mother, at an early age in high school, was my grandfather's secretary. And on an interview that my grandfather had with my cousin Evans Casbo, my cousin asked my grandfather, how much did they pay Virgie? He said, not a nickel, and that's how he said it. So she did a lot of work for him, and she was very appreciative of Kenny Matassa and the council doing this and dedicating this to him.
I just want to say to each and every one of you, I'd be an honor for y'all to vote and do this for my daddy. He's devoted his whole lifetime to his parish and his community in Donaldsonville and Ascension Parish. Everyone loved him and couldn't say a bad thing about him through all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Virgie.
Unfortunately, the plaque, she put everything on the plaque that she wanted because his name from Sicily was Trapani, T-R-A-P-N-I. His father was Collegio Trapani from Sala Peruta, Sicily, and his mother was Virginia Canatella from Jubilina, Sicily, 2 towns in the western of Sicily. And they came here at an age, and he was 5 years old and couldn't speak a word of English, my grandfather, and he had to school himself. And over the years, at 18, he became deputy at a young age of 18. And his law enforcement year was over 51 years in law enforcement. He became deputy and warden of the jail, and I think in 1925. And from then on, he served as deputy and warden, and they lived at the jail. And then he became chief of police of Donaldsonville for a number of years. And he was born March 12, 1906, and he died September 14, 1984. And he had 4 children. He had my mother, which is Virgie T. Trepagnier LeBlanc. And the T she always put in the middle was for Trapani. So she wanted to remember that because she was dug up into all her Italian history in Sicily. She had a little boy, Charles Trepagnier, who died in infancy, about 2 years old. And my uncle Anthony Trepagnier died a few years ago, and he was married to Bobby Jean Burns. And my mother was married to Andrew LeBlanc Jr. from McCall, Louisiana. And I have my Aunt Rosemary is going to be here shortly, and she was married to Phil Semino, my Uncle Phil, and he passed away also.
My dad is an awesome man. My dad was a very stern man, but a very fair man. And I'm talking about to each and everyone was treated alike. There was no preferences in races or anything like that, no color. He didn't see any color.
Needs to stay. It's been here for years. It needs to be preserved. It's historical. This is one of the most historical places in Donaldsonville, and to let it run down is a sin and a shame. I want to thank my cousin Bernie Capone, because he really put a lot of effort into getting this jail cleaned up, pressure washed, painted, and we worked hard to try to get this together for my mother, but it's just sad that she couldn't make it, and the rest of the family couldn't either.
But I go back and in my memories and my thoughts, and it ain't nothing but wonderful. Wonderful. I wish that all could be here with us. My sister, my brother, my mom, my dad, my husband. But they can't, you know. I guess they're waiting on us.
Our bodies die, but our spirits live forever.
Yeah.
The dedication of this building, hopefully this building will be here for a long, long time.
I hope so.
And thus the memory of your dad.
Yes, yes.
This is the old jail. They don't know where it's at, but it's right here in the city of Downsville behind the courthouse.
Which is a pretty historic building in itself.
Beautiful historic, yeah.
This is a part of history. I mean, you can't replace history.
We can't replace this. We can't replace this at all. This is memories for a lot of people that has gone and passed. And I mean, for people to walk in here, and for especially our family, and for the children and the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren that come in here and see this is where their parents, great-grandparents, great-grandparents started their lives with nothing. They had hardly anything. And my grandma, Mary, my mom, cooked for the prisoners. And those days, it was hardly pennies that they made. And his mama was, she ran a grocery store back of town on Front Street, and his daddy was a truck farmer. So all of them had hard lives, and they came up, and here we are today, and we got children, grandchildren, we got great-grandchildren now, we got the age, so we want to preserve this in memory of them.
I was glad when Anna called me up here. When Kenny first got in, he told me, he said, listen, he said, I want you to meet the class from Xavier University. He said they want tour of the jail. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So that was our first step in cleaning it. So it was like a Greyhound type bus they got out of it. And they had a gentleman in there that was one of Martin Luther King's generals. And he took us up in the cell, the one all the way to the left and the back. And he told us that they had came and started the riots in Plackham. So Jessaluso and them had a little gang. They were going to lynch him. So they called Hickley, and Hickley put him in the jail over here and kept him here for about 30 days. And they had a black and white TV, and he showed us where they put it and all. So it was very interesting to meet that man. He was the last one of Martin Luther King's generals still walking. So I thought that was a unique thing for the jail. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Bernie. Fernand asked me to say a few remarks. She covered some of them, but I got to cover some of these things because some of these things are very important to the legacy of Chalou. Those of you who don't know, this building that says up there 1868 is the second oldest building in Downsville still standing. It was formerly a courthouse, then it became a jail. Then the courthouse burnt it down, the other courthouse, and then it back again. So it's back and forth, but it's still here. And that courthouse is old, but it's not as old as this building. But anyway, it has a lot of legacy with it. I have to say a few remarks about my friend Chalou. And our friendship goes back when I ran first political office back in 1981. Came to my office, he had his little cane, walking with his little cane. That's you! I said, yeah, Chalou. I got to talk to you. Going back. Our whole family gonna be behind you. But do what you gotta do. I said, thank you, Mr. Chalou. It means a lot because he was very close friends with my dad and everything else. We didn't win the election. We lost by 70-some votes, but it was a tribute to him that he stood by me the whole time. And after that, we were always visiting and talking. It was nice. But I want to, they talked about what Chalou did in the community, and what the mayor talked about with his father. Chalou had the trust of the community. Now, you know, I got to give you an example what trust is about. If you throw a young baby up in the air, the baby's going to cry. And when she's coming down, she's laughing, and you catching her. That was trust. So the community had that trust because no Chalou would take care of it. And it was at a time already a physical specimen, being 6 foot 2 inches and 220 pounds. His law enforcement career spanned a period of 51 years, but he never used a gun on his hip, perhaps because of his cool demeanor and presence of mind under the most dangerous and difficult situations. Banana covered a little while ago, he grew up in a neighborhood entirely black, but he was friends. And the name Chalou was a common name to everyone, as like Mayor Sullivan said. He had the respect and rapport of the black community that could not be challenged or met by anybody that I've seen since that time. When Martin Luther King's assassination occurred, there was a lot of uncertainty in the community. Banana covered a little bit of that here. Well, Chalou thought it was appropriate for him as chief of police to lead the march, and come downtown with the people who were marching. And when it was all said and done, he told the crowd, we've had our march, we're going back to peaceful ways. So that's the kind of person he was. Never had a gun on his side, sometimes carried a machine gun when it was necessary. And I'm going to cover that with you in a second. There was a notorious boy, and you probably saw this in movies, Pretty Boy Floyd. That was back in the 30s. John Dillinger gang. And he was headed for Blackman. The chief sheriff of Hillman Parish called Chalou. If he'd come over and help, which he did. Trepagnier told the sheriff, not me or you or anyone else is going to take this man alive. But we must be sure it is Floyd. When we see this man, that is the primary rule of law enforcement. I won't tell him to halt because he would kill us. So we will shoot first. Chalou will start the hidden bridge behind Blackman for hours waiting for Pretty Boy Floyd. He got word that Chalou was there and he didn't come to Blackman. Right now we're going to have remarks by the parish president, Kenny Batassa.
Probably about a year and a half ago, this Reggie LeBlanc came to me about this building and told me the story about how they lived in this building and her mother did all the cooking and everything. So we did a little research and it was a no-brainer to name this building after Chalou, who was the first jailer to not only take this over, but the family moved in and lived there. And I tell you what, I promise you those prisoners enjoyed the food because they had Italian food every day. And I think they gained weight instead of losing weight because of it. So, Rosemary, you want to come up? Come on. Okay. At a proclamation, whereas Charles Chalou Trepagnier was born March 12, 1906 in Churchville, Donaldsonville, Louisiana, to Sicilian immigrant parents, and whereas Charles Chalou Trepagnier started his law enforcement career in 1925 at age 18. He became the Ascension Parish Sheriff's deputy and a jailer of the old Ascension jail, actually living in the jail with his family for a time. Whereas Charles Chalou Trepagnier became chief of police of the city of Donaldsonville in 1963 and served in the post for 16 years until his retirement in 1979. And whereas Charles Chalou Trepagnier, after distinguished law enforcement career that spanned for half a century, passed away on September 14, 1984. And whereas in recognition of his 51 years in law enforcement and for his distinguished service to the people of Ascension Parish, Ascension Parish Council, at the official meeting held on June 1st, 2017, unanimously passed a resolution renaming the old jail to the Chalou Trepagnier building, and whereas the descendants of Chalou Trepagnier will gather along with the public on August 31st, 2019 for formally rededicating this new renovated building. Now therefore I, Kenny McCaskill, President of Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim the old Ascension Parish Jail, Charles Trepagnier Jail. And I thank everyone for coming in, the Trepagnier and Falsetto family for letting me be a small part of this.
I would like to thank everyone that came back today for the whole celebration and I want to thank everybody that helped Diana and all of this cooking and getting everything ready because I do a real big job. And thank you, Kim. Thank everyone.
Good morning. I consider it an honor as well as a privilege to be a part of this great program, this dedication of the jail, the old jail in the city of Dawsonville, the Chalou Trapani jail, or museum as we will consider it. As I come before you, I see so many that are members of their family, and I was reminded that we always say to give a person their flowers while they're living, so that they can see the beauty, so that they can smell the flowers. Oftentimes, it is after someone has gone on to glory that they get the recognition that they truly deserve. But I can tell this family that as a little boy, I remember the name Chalou. Didn't know until I passed here one day that his first name was Charles. All right? All I knew was Chalou. Never been inside the jail. Never was a resident of this jail, thank God. But I want to tell you of a story, and it's a true story that happened when I was a young boy. There used to be Muslims that would come to Downsville and they would sell their newspapers. And so they came to our house on St. Patrick Street, and the police officer pulled up to my dad. When they put him in the car, and as kids we all crying, and my dad is saying, "Don't worry about me, you know, I'm gonna be all right." He told my mom to call Mr. Sam Matasser, and Monterio, and he said, "I'll be all right." And so over the radio came this voice of Mr. Chalou Trepagnier, and he told the officer, "I told them that they could sell those papers in the city of Dawsonville. So y'all leave them alone, let them go." So they let the Muslim out of the car, and the Muslim said, "Well, what about my friend?" And they said, "Oh, he has to go to jail." So my dad told him, "Don't worry about him." By the time he got to the jail, Chalou had already got things worked out where they brought him right back home. So I'm grateful to the family. I'm grateful to all that he did for the city of Dawsonville, and I just want to salute and applaud the whole family for a job well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Sullivan. We have a few words by Sheriff Bobby Weber.
Thank you, Marvin. What a legacy family the Trepagnier family is. He passed away in 1984, and I started my law enforcement career in 1985, and that spanned over 34 years now. But to look out into this audience and see some of the legacy guys and some of my mentors like EJ, Baptiste, Murphy, many more, I see Mr. Ronnie Randall, the people who actually worked out of this building. And believe it or not, I know this building right here was built in 1868. 1868, and they used it till 1975. That's a long time for a jail. And Miss Virgie LeBlanc, who adopted me many years ago, because I was the warden of the parish jail for 16 years. And when she adopted you, you became one of hers, and she didn't have any problem getting on you, okay? So she said, come pick me up, I'm gonna bring you to that jail. Never been in it. So she gave me my first tour of this jail many years ago, and I was just amazed by how much she knew about it. She said, well, you understand I lived here. I said, what? She said, yeah, this is which side we lived on, and she walked me through the whole jail. And ladies and gentlemen, I would tell you, being a warden for 16 years, I never, ever had a desire to live at that jail or to live in Bill Cutoff Road. But they did, and it's been a great honor to know that family. Although I missed knowing Mr. Chalou, you almost have to feel you knew him because his legacy still exists, and deputies still tell stories about him. And so it feels like I do know him, but I do know the extended family and the our legacy of Donaldsville, and I'm just honored to be able to say just a few words about it. Thank you.
Do you have any memories of life?
I have memories of us coming back. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure, yeah.
Coming to visit Daddy
Right.
at the office, or coming talk, or coming ask him something, and Mr. Petty being at the radio, you know, and all of this, all the different policemen, you know.
Spending time in one of the cells when you were bad.
Never had to.
You never had to do that?
No, thank God.
Okay.
One
I
time.
understand that some family members had to spend time in some of these.
Yeah, I just found that out about a year ago. I didn't really know.
Don't look at me.
Oh,
You see, they kept that quiet. But no, one day I came over here, I don't know, maybe about 8, 9 years old, and I came by with Daddy. And I mean, it was a no-no to come up these steps, okay, you know. Well, I was trying myself. I made it up 3 steps, and I heard one of the prisoners talking to the other one, and it scared me half to death. I said, you know what? Get your little and get on back down them steps, and I never tried again to go back up.
We're gonna keep on them. They need to do a lot of work in here. Bernie and I spoke about it, and they need to get some grants or whatever to keep this building and preserve it, because there's a lot of work to be done in it. And we did a lot, and Bernie did a lot, and Hank and a bunch of them came in and did a lot of work to clear out the stuff that they stored in here.
I've been in here before. It's
Yeah,
good. It's clean.
it's clean, it's nice.
So very proud of my father and my mother, because my mother was here with him. So they did this hand in hand, you know, that part. It means the world to us, because Daddy lived for this town. My daddy gave his life for this town. He really did.